Hey guys, what's going on? This is Wade from SCH Uncovered. This is like the third time I'm making this video, but anyways, I'm here to talk to you guys about creatine today, alright? This is the first video I want to make on this topic. I want you guys to keep asking me questions and I'll keep putting videos up there for you guys, alright? The main reason why I'm making this video on creatine is because I had a few friends ask me a couple questions and I decided and I gave them the answers. And I'm like, hey, why don't I just put this up on the channel? All right. So first, creatine. What is creatine? Creatine is a natural compound found in our bodies. Um, we make creatine in our bodies as well as we ingest creatine from outside sources, foods. In our body, we make creatine from non-essential amino acids. Basically, these are amino acids that we also create in our body. So we use glycine, and we use glycine, methionine, and arginine in our body to create creatine. Um, from the outside sources, all meats, all animal products, so red meats, poultry, and fish, all have creatine in it, and we ingest it from these sources. Um, what that means is vegetarians, sorry, but you guys do lack creatine in your system. Like I said, we do create it in our body, but we get a lot of it from our foods as well. So vegetarians would benefit the most from during the initial phases of exercise. Our body's lacking oxygen. Okay, we're going through an oxygen deficit. It's because as we're beginning exercise, we're not our respiration hasn't increased to compensate for the amount of work that we're doing. So what that means is that now we're going through anaerobic, which basically only means oxygen, no oxygen. So oxygen deficit uh, systems. We're going through anaerobic work in our body. Okay, so our cells, which have stores of creatine in it, also have stores of glycogen and ATP. ATP is the energy in our bodies. Okay, so every time you hear me say ATP, it'll equal energy. Okay, and the way it equals energy is by the phosphate bonds that it has in it. It's able to donate phosphate and take in phosphate. Okay, if you have any questions about that, guys, just write it below and I'll make sure to answer. Yeah, so during initial exercise, our body has glycogen, glucose, in stored, and it has ATP. The problem now is that because we're lacking oxygen, ATP is being used up rapidly. Glycogen is not able to break down as much as it wants to produce as much energy as possible. It needs oxygen for this. So we end up only creating small amounts of energy from the sugars that we had in our cells, and the energy that we had before is not being used up. When ATP is used up, it goes from ATP, adenosine triphosphate, down to ADP, so adenosine diphosphate. So that's how you can see how we do donate that phosphate group to whatever other system there is in our cell to create energy, okay, or the use of energy. Now, what creatine does in our system, or creatine stores phosphate. So creatine actually binds to phosphate in our cells. And what this does is that it allows when ATP goes down and into ADP, creatine now donates its phosphate to ADP, so adenosine diphosphate, to reform ATP, which is energy. Okay, so now creatine gives its phosphate to a lesser energy group to make more energy. Okay, so now you can see how creatine is used to increase the energy in our cells. Okay, why this is so important? It's because, like I said, it's because we're going through a phase where we're in an oxygen deficit phase. Which, like, let's take for example squatting. Okay, we're starting to squat. Our breathing isn't keeping up. Sometimes people hold their breath, but the breathing isn't there. Okay, so we're not getting as much oxygen that we need, and we need that explosive power to get up from the bottom, right? Now, creatine stores are what do that. Okay, our energy is being donated to our proteins in our body so that it could contract and force our muscle cells to contract to explode back up. So we got to keep using these ATP, and creatine is what's going to be the backup system for this. It's going to overflood the system with ATP now, and now we're going to have more energy and be able to drive out more reps and etc. Okay, this is why a lot of athletes love using creatine. Right? Even the novice gym goer benefits from using creatine. Okay, what effects do we have with creatine? A lot of people who intake creatine, the side effects sometimes are stomach cramps. They feel dehydrated, even though they feel dehydrated, cramping, and bloatedness. Okay, this is all because creatine acts as a salt in our body. Okay, and it sometimes doesn't digest properly when we intake it. Our body tends to reject it when it's not in a food source. Okay, so the way why creatine increases our cellular volume, so it increases water retention, it's because creatine acts as a salt. Okay, creatine goes into our muscle cells, and it's a molecule. Okay, our cells aren't used to having that. So what it does to compensate for it, it increases the water volume to equal out the balance that it had before with water to salt content or water to molecule content. Okay, so as we increase our creatine levels, we also increase our water retention levels. So that's why a lot of people gain 2, 3, 4 pounds in the beginning when they first start taking creatine. The most commonly way to intake creatine is using a loading and maintenance phase. All right, most people use 25 grams to 20 to 25 grams during the loading phase of creatine, and then 5 grams thereafter during the maintenance phase. Okay. What I like to use is a more calculated way, which is 0.3 grams per kilogram of body weight, all right, during the loading phase of creatine. That's 5 to 7 days, okay, and then 0.03 grams per kilogram of body weight for the remaining 3 weeks, okay, which is the maintenance weeks. And this leads up to about a month of creatine usage. Then I personally cycle off of it, which is, it means I don't use it for a week or 2 weeks, and then I go back onto it using a loading phase and etc. Okay, you don't need to use a loading phase again. It's all about how your body reacts to it. Some people I know just stay on creatine the entire time with 5 grams. You'll get the quickest results using loading phases, but just by maintaining at 0.03 grams per kilogram of body weight over a period of time, you'll see the same increase in cellular creatine levels, okay, in the long term. What else? Oh, there's a few types of creatine. There's creatine, well, the main two types out there is creatine monohydrate and creatine ethyl ether. Creatine monohydrate is like the old timer on the block. It's the tried and true version. It's the one that has the most amount of research. Some people used to complain about getting a lot of cramps and belly gripes from it, and bloating. But so that's why a company created creatine ethyl ester, which is another version. You'll commonly see it as CEE on the labels of protein supplements like BSN's Cell Mass or I know Explode. This one doesn't have as much research. Creatine, like I said, creatine monohydrate has way more research, and it's more. It's been tested to actually work. Where this creatine ether has research going back and forth, so I really don't know right now about it as much. So, okay, the companies that you do use CE or creatine ether tend to have a lot of money that goes behind their product and a lot of advertising. Whereas creatine monohydrate you can find in the most generic brands, and you know it will work. Okay, so you guys know which one I recommend, right? Okay, so creatine monohydrate. What else can I tell you guys? I think that's about it. But if you guys have any questions, if you don't like my video, if you like my video, leave a comment below. If you really like my videos, go check out my other ones, and please subscribe. It gets me motivated when I see people like my videos and they learn something from it. Alright, I'll be putting up more exercise videos, more information videos. Just let me know what you guys want to know, and it'll be done. Alright, so I hope you guys learned a lot. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.